So, Turning Point USA, uh, you're done. I hope you know this. You are done. You are nothing without Charlie Kirk. You are useless. No one cares about you anymore. Why? Because Charlie Kirk is the big name. Charlie Kirk is the star of the show. Charlie Kirk is the guy that people wanted to see. Charlie Kirk is the one who people wanted to see what he had to say. Charlie Kirk is the one that people wanted to ask him a question. Charlie Kirk is the one that people wanted to debate. Maybe you can get him on something. Maybe he gets you on something. Maybe you can convince him to change his mind on something. Maybe you can change, maybe he gets you to change your mind on something. Charlie Kirk, one of the biggest names ever, not just in Republican politics, but just politics in general. He's that big and that well known and that popular. More likely than not, we'll never get that sort of political talent like that ever again. And if you do get it, maybe another 10 or 20 years from now. That's if you're being lucky. But now that Charlie Kirk is gone, he's unfortunately dead and he's left this world. What are you left with, Turning Point USA? Nothing. You have nothing. No one wants to go to your events anymore. And this is proof how not that long ago you had an event down in Georgia. JD Vance was there. Erica Kirk was going to be there, but she canceled because security threats and all that other stuff. Well, that turns out that was not true. That was not even close to being true. Even the Secret Service said, oh, there was no threat. So, no. What it really was is low ticket sales. She didn't want to be associated with that. Because at that event in Georgia, basically no one there. A very small group of people were there. A very low turnout. Very embarrassing. So I can understand why Erica Kirk would not want to be associated with that. Rather embarrassing look for Turning Point USA. Now, of course, this keeps popping up on Twitter too. Now that Turning Point USA is canceling all these events that they've had planned. Of course, one of them, JD Vance, was going to be at again. And I get it. I get why they canceled it, because they realize that the gig is up. Your time is done. Without Charlie Kirk, you are nothing. Useless. Because why, if you wanted to go to a Turning Point USA event, it's like, why would I go? Charlie Kirk's not there anymore. Why? And Charlie Kirk got big names in politics to come. Generally speaking, he did get some, people, some Democrats, some people on the left side of the political spectrum, but most of the time he got like the big names in politics from the Republican side of things to come to his events. But he's gone, so that's that. So, but Charlie Kirk is gone, and that's gone now too. And I think the only reason that JD Vance showed up to that is that he was close friends with Charlie Kirk. So he's just kind of doing Turning Point USA a favor by even showing up to these events. And I get why he's not going to do the other ones that they had planned. It's not only an embarrassing look for Turning Point USA, but it's also an embarrassing look for JD Vance. Like, you showed up to that and only a certain amount of people showed up, a very small group of people. That's embarrassing. You're wasting his time. JD Vance is the vice president of this country, the United States of America. One of the biggest names in politics right now. Not just in the Republican Party, but just politics in general. Like, if you want JD Vance to come to your event, it better be good. Big crowd. Big time event. You better have a lot of big people there. Big amount of people have to be there. Or if not, it kind of feel like, in my opinion, you're just wasting his time. A rather pointless endeavor to even entertain such a thing rather than actually go there. You want the big names in politics, the big dogs. You better step up your game and get actual people to come, not this like little small rinky dink amount of people, because that doesn't really do anything. Also, call it what it is. Charlie Kirk was propping up Turning Point USA because Turning Point USA was Charlie Kirk's idea. Charlie Kirk wanted to have this big political organization that he could use to get people to vote for Republicans. And what do you know? It worked. He's had some success with that. A big reason why Trump's in the White House right now is because of Charlie Kirk. Now, there are other contributing factors why Trump's in there, but a big reason why is Charlie Kirk. Charlie Kirk could go to all these colleges and have these big time events, and they'd be very successful. He would, and then he'd have these events at colleges where, he has like the little, tent, and he has a table where he sits down and he has the microphone, and then people come up to him and they ask him questions. They try and debate him. Big time success. And those clips were very popular all over social media, went very viral. In part, that's another reason that Charlie Kirk got people to vote Republican, because he was able to get people of all walks of life to vote for him, including the younger generations of people, the younger demographics, the youth vote, as one might say. Well, that's gone now because Charlie Kirk's dead, so we can kiss that one goodbye. So, like, if you were running events and you're trying to get people to come, especially the youth vote and the younger demographic of people, good luck with that, because you're kind of screwed there. Because, well, again, Charlie Kirk brought people in. Now you don't have that. You don't. So you're screwed. You are screwed. You're done. You are not coming back from this. Just accept your defeat. Accept that you are done. Move on with your life. Maybe try something different, because you're useless without Charlie Kirk. It just doesn't have the same oomph, the same appeal, the same gravitas, the same power that it had when Charlie Kirk was there. Without him, you don't have any of that. You're useless. Nothing. You're long gone now. Years from now, you will be one of those things where people look back and say, "Hey, you remember Turning Point USA?" And they'll be like, "Oh, yeah, I remember that. I remember Turning Point USA. Whatever happened to them?" That has happened to many things. Like, "Oh, yeah, remember when that was a thing? Oh, yeah, I remember when that was a thing. Whatever happened?" Just speaking in generalities here, but that's happened to so many things and people over the years. And that's where you're headed, Turning Point USA. You're done. You're in that same position because you can try your hardest and try your best and put someone else in there and it's not working because no one cares and it's not real, it's not genuine, it's forced. Like what you're doing with Erica Kirk, who's Charlie Kirk's wife, it's not working. She is not meant for this. And I'm not the only one saying this. Many people have said this. Put her in some other role if she still wants to do something with Turning Point USA. But being the, you know, the being the top dog, where you are the face of the organization, you're right in front, it's not working. It's just not. It is turning people off. People hate it. People do not like it. It is just not real. It's not genuine. It's fake. People don't like that. People can see that. They can see through it. They can see what it is. And they don't like it. They don't. I'm one of those people. I don't like it. It's not real. It's not genuine. Fake. You can see through it. You know, Charlie Kirk was a big advocate for not going to war with Iran. He did not like that idea so much that he went to the White House to talk to Trump to try and get him to not do it. Now, obviously, that didn't work because, Trump went to war with Iran. Oops. Not good. Not good. But you know what? You tried. Good effort, Charlie Kirk. You tried. You did the best that you could in that situation. You tried. You're not the first one that tried doing that. Tucker Carlson tried that too. He tried that, speaking out against the war in Iran, saying, "Don't do it, don't do it, don't do it, Trump, don't do it." And, of course, going to the White House himself and trying to say, "Oh, don't do it, don't do it." And, well, yikes, that didn't work either. Well, at least you tried, Tucker Carlson and Charlie Kirk. At least you tried. But what happens? As soon as Charlie Kirk dies, all that goes away. And then the idiots at Turning Point USA who are running this now are trying to make it so that where it's like, "Oh, no, 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 Charlie Kirk would have been okay with the war in Iran. He would have been okay with that because reasons, because this and this and this," when that's not even close to being true. And when that happened, you could see people call them out on it by saying, like, "No, that's not true. Charlie Kirk did not want the war in Iran." And they would respond to that with clips of Charlie Kirk speaking out against the idea of war with Iran. He hated it. He was not very fond of that. So right then and there, you're already being very rude and disrespectful to Charlie Kirk when he's been very vocal about not having a war with Iran. And then you turn around and say no, that he would have been okay with that when he wasn't. And when that makes it when what makes that even more god awful and terrible and really bad is that Charlie Kirk is not here to defend himself and fire back at that criticism and set the record straight, be like, "No, I don't like that. I do not want that." But there are people in this world that have, I guess you could say, a little advocate for Charlie Kirk that are standing up for him and saying, "No, he was not for the war in Iran. He was against it." So that's one way that you are being rude to Charlie Kirk, and people see that, and that's what's bringing you down. That's a reason why no one really likes you anymore, and you will go away. Of course, another reason, Charlie Kirk said no to some donors. They wanted to give him some money, and Charlie Kirk said no. And guess what happens? As soon as Charlie Kirk dies, that money from those donors that Charlie Kirk said no to, it goes to Turning Point USA. They say yes to it. So that right there is another reason why you are being very rude and mean and disrespectful to Charlie Kirk, because you are accepting money from a donor that he did not want. And again, that adds to why another reason why people don't like you anymore. Because they look at that and say, "What the heck, man? What is that nonsense? What is that stupid, idiotic nonsense? You're taking money from a donor that Charlie Kirk did not want? What are you doing? What is that nonsense?" And then again, so Charlie Kirk, a very, very religious man, was all about going to church and trying to get people to go to church. And he's had some success with that. Just like trying to get people to vote for Republicans. He had some success with that. Why? Because it was a real, genuine feeling, a real, genuine connection. You could look at that and say, you know what? He actually believes in that. He made convincing arguments about that. It worked. He got more people to vote for Republicans. A big reason why Trump is in there, the White House. And he got people to go to church. Well, you've tried doing that since his death, and nah, he hasn't really done anything with it. It just kind of again, because you don't have Charlie Kirk. It just doesn't feel the same. It does not have the same oomph, the same power. Someone else that isn't Charlie Kirk that says, yeah, you should go to church, you know, get married, raise a family, have kids, stuff like that. Like when Charlie Kirk said that, that had more power, more gravitas, more oomph. Without him, someone else says that, it's like, whatever. Doesn't really work as much. Doesn't work very well, you know? It doesn't. And another so people see that and it's like and it doesn't work as well. And that's your doesn't really work. Another reason why people don't like you. It just doesn't. And again, Charlie Kirk was very America first. Not very fond of the whole Middle East thing in general, whether that be, you know, Iran. He had criticisms of Israel. And just wanted to focus on America, America first. Also is not very fond of the whole Ukraine thing, which I which I understand because that's a mess too. And Charlie Kirk, a big debate guy, because you know, the summer of 2024, he had a big time debate down in Tampa, Florida, where you had people for the pro Israel side of things, and then the people for the not pro Israel side of things, the more pro Palestinian side of things. And Dave Smith was one of those people that was on the pro Palestinian side of things, the anti Israel side of things. Good debate, good back and forth between the Israel side and the pro Palestinian side of things. I do happen to believe that Dave Smith did a better job in that debate, more convincing. And when it comes to that sort of stuff, Dave Smith is really smart, really good with that sort of stuff. Like, you want to debate him, you better be ready. Get on. You better have your A game. You better be ready to go because if you don't, you're going to get your ass handed to you. He will smoke you. So there's that. So, Charlie Kirk, not very fond of the whole Middle East thing, Israel and Iran, all that sort of stuff, had some criticism about that. And in Charlie Kirk's final months of his life, he became more and more critical of Israel. You could see it. It was kind of like the little wheel, and it slowly in his head, where it just kind of slowly turning, where he kind of slowly starting to go into the direction of being critical of Israel. And many people believe that had he not died, he eventually would have become 100% anti-Israel. And I agree with that. I really do. I agree with that. If you just look at the way on how things were going with him, he would have gotten there. And the first sign of why he eventually would have gotten there is that back when October 7th happened in Israel, like right after it, Charlie Kirk started questioning the narrative. Because I'm paraphrasing it, but he's like, wait a minute, this doesn't make sense. He's like, I've been to Israel many times. It's like the size of like New Jersey. The board, you can get on a plane and be on like from like one part of Israel to the other side of Israel in like 45 minutes. The border isn't really that big. And you're telling me that no one knew that what Hamas was going to do You're telling me that they just let Hamas go in there and do what they did, which was terrible? And he questioned that. And then the big one, he says, was there a stand down order? Meaning, did the Israeli government tell the Israeli military to stand down and not do anything? Don't stop Hamas and just let them do what they did, which is really bad. And Charlie Kirk questioned that. And because he questioned that, he got a lot of shit for that. He got ripped on pretty good for that. A lot of criticism, including on Twitter. Now, mind you, that at that point in time, Charlie Kirk was one of the most pro-Israel people out there that you could find. Honestly, you really couldn't find a more pro-Israel person out there. You'd be hard to find that. Maybe there was one out there, but I doubt that. It's like he was up there in terms of like one of the most pro-Israel people. And yet that wasn't good enough. He still got ripped on. Bro, you're anti-Semitic, you hate Jews, and all this other nonsense. It's like, yeah, okay, the guy that's one of the most pro-Israel people out there is anti-Semitic and hates Jews and all that other stuff. Like, no, screw you with that stupid, idiotic nonsense. That does not make sense. That does not even come close to being true. It just doesn't. Much like, people these days, they call people, you're racist or you're homophobic or you're sexist or you're all this blah, 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 all this other stupid, idiotic nonsense when you have no proof of that. It's the same idea. It's like, oh, you're anti-Semitic or you hate Jews, you're this or that. When generally speaking, you have no proof of that, and you're just trying to ruin someone's life. You're just trying to be a dick to someone. And that's what they were doing to Charlie Kirk. They were trying to be a dick to him and trying to ruin his life. And, oh, you hate Jews, you're anti-Semitic, when he wasn't. They were not even close to being true. The guy who was one of the most pro-Israel people out there, he hates Jews or anti-Semitic. Like, knock it off. Knock it off with that nonsense. Not even close to being true. But that didn't stop Charlie Kirk. He still had the debates, both for Israel and against Israel. One side for Israel, one side against Israel. That did not stop Charlie Kirk for having some criticism of Israel. It didn't. Because after that, he had some more criticism of Israel. And then what really set, that some, let's say the Zionists, the pro-Israel people off, is when he had that debate down in Florida with Dave Smith. Ooh, that set him off. And then essentially he kind of got summoned to a struggle session up in the Hamptons with Bill Ackman and a whole bunch of other big-time donors that tried to get him to, stop what he was doing and, get back to supporting Israel 100% of the time. Someone gets out of line. Oh, no, you can't do that. Get your ass back in line. Well, that didn't work because he was, had more criticism for Israel. And then another moment where he was slowly going into that anti-Israel direction is that August of 2025, he's on Megyn Kelly's show, and he's very angry and shows lots of frustration about how, like, I'm paraphrasing it, but it's like, I'm like one of the most pro-Israel people out there, and I still get called anti-Semitic and I hate Jews and that. And like he pulls out his phone and he's like, I have all of these text messages that are questioning my moral character and calling me this and calling me that, even though I'm one of the most pro-Israel people out there. And then Megyn Kelly kind of expressed a similar sentiment because she's had that treatment too, where she's been one of the most pro-Israel people out there, but it's still not good enough. They still call her anti-Semitic and she hates Jews and all that other nonsense because she's had some criticisms for Israel. So, like, she, shared some similar feelings that Charlie Kirk had. And then, of course, Candace Owens, who's been really good about this, exposing a lot of this, is right before Charlie Kirk died. There's a group chat that Charlie Kirk was in with some of his donors and a whole bunch of other people. And I'm paraphrasing it, but basically Charlie Kirk says just lost $2 million from a donor because we won't cancel like Tucker Carlson. Because Tucker Carlson was at that event with Dave Smith too. And the Zionist pro-Israel people were not very fond of that. Of that event when Dave Smith was there and Tucker Carlson was there. But it's like, you are very stupid and idiotic and very cringe to get upset at that. Imagine getting upset at the guy, Charlie Kirk, who likes having debates where he gets one person from one side of the issue and gets another person from the other side of the issue. Imagine being that stupid and weak and pathetic and idiotic that you're getting that upset. You're getting upset at the guy that likes to have debates? How stupid and idiotic are you? Pathetic. Like, what are you doing? And then, says, oh, I'm not going to cancel it. So, and then that text message, oh, I'm not going to cancel, lost 2 million from a donor because I'm not going to cancel Charlie Kirk. And essentially at that moment where Charlie Kirk kind of said, like, you know what, screw it, just to kind of like be a dick back to those people, I'm going to shove it in your face. And you know what? We're bringing, Tucker Carlson, and we're going to bring back Candace Owens. Oh, that really got them upset. They're like, don't do that. Well, and those people, those donors from the pro-Israel side of things, were not very nice to Charlie Kirk. They were so bad to him that it got to the point to where Charlie Kirk said, you're leaving me no choice but to leave the pro-Israel cause. So yes, he eventually, if he still was alive, he eventually would have gotten to a point to where he would have been anti-Israel 100%. And a guy like that, who is that big and that powerful and that popular, politically speaking, not just in Republican politics, but just politics in general, a guy who could get people of all walks of life to vote for Republicans, young, old, middle-aged, white, black, Mexican, Asian, gay, LGBT, women, men, whatever. He could get all those people to vote for Republicans. he comes out and goes 100% is anti-Israel, then that's a whole new ball game. That's a game changer because yes, both Republicans and Democrats historically have supported Israel, but for being honest here, the Democrats like don't really support the whole Israel thing anymore. It, saw a poll out there that's only like 7% of Democrats only support Israel. 7%. That's really bad. So 93% of Democrats do not support Israel. Only 7% support Israel. So that's gone. And Israel is only being the support of Israel in America is only being propped up by the Republicans, people in the Republican Party, people who vote Republican. More specifically, the boomers, the older generation of people that just, kind of watch the TV news, the Fox News and all that other sort of stuff. Mostly. No, and there are some people that are not boomers, that are younger people that do support Israel. So like it's there, but it's mostly boomers. So there's that. But if you had a guy like Charlie Kirk who came out 100% against Israel, Israel was done. You're cooked, you're done. That's it. Because Charlie Kirk had that much power and oomph and just talent where he could get you to go a certain way, to support a certain thing, to vote for a certain thing. If he goes 100% anti-Israel, then guess what? Those people that like him, they're going 100% anti-Israel. But he unfortunately dies. And what do the powers that be, these stupid idiots at Turning Point USA, do? They go into the direction of supporting Israel more. Which again, is not being very nice to Charlie Kirk. You are being very mean and very rude to him and being very disrespectful towards him when you do that. So, like, that's another reason why people don't like you, Turning Point USA. And that's another reason why you will be going away. Because every step along the way, you are being very disrespectful towards him. Everything that Charlie Kirk put his blood, sweat, and tears, metaphorically speaking, into Turning Point USA to get it to where it is today, to where it is one of the biggest names in politics, especially Republican politics, so big and powerful to the point to where you can get people to vote for Republicans and get Trump into the White House for the second time. That big, that popular, that powerful, that little extra oomph. All of that is going to be gone. You've pissed that away. Because Charlie Kirk was that big, that powerful, that important to Turning Point USA. Without it, you're nothing. So have fun with that. Because you're not going anywhere. You're just not. And another thing I'll add to this. Charlie Kirk was a big advocate for women staying home, being a stay-at-home mom. That's your job, be a stay-home mom. Nothing wrong with that. My brother's wife, Rachel, my sister-in-law, very good person who I like. That's what she does. She's a stay-at-home mom, and she's really good at it. Really good. A good helps balance things out. My brother has a job, takes care of those sort of things, and does a good job with that. And then Rachel balance things out, staying home, helping out with the kids. And of course, they have a dog too, Cooper, good dog, and helps out with that as well. And so does Ryan. But, when he's at work, someone's got to look after the kids and the dog. And, you know, that's what Rachel does. And she's really good at it. Like stuff like that can work out when done right. So Charlie Kirk's a big advocate for that. The men do the job and women do the stay at home, take care of the kids. So, like, you would think that they would continue that, right? Since, Charlie Kirk has unfortunately died, right? Oh, wait, nope, never mind. That's not, nope, that's not happening. Erica Kirk is not being that at home mom. Instead, she's working, doing the whole, work thing where, you know, look at me, I'm doing these events at Turning Point USA. Look at me, I'm doing Charlie Kirk's show. Look at me, I'm a celebrity. Look at me, look at me, look at me. I'm going on Fox News. Look at me, I'm on CBS. I'm doing a town hall interview. Look at me, look at me, look at me. I got this pretty dress on, and I got this pantsuit that's all sparkly, and there's fireworks and the glitz and the glamour and all this other stuff. That does not fit with what Charlie Kirk wanted. Charlie Kirk wants a wife that stays home and takes care of the kids. So that's another reason why you're being very rude and mean and disrespectful to Charlie Kirk. And when people see that, that's another reason why people don't like you, Turning Point USA. And it'll be another reason why you will go away. Bye. I don't think you get it. I just don't think you get it. I don't. I don't think you get it. If you want to save yourself, make sure that you're not one of those things like, oh man, whatever happened to Turning Point USA? Oh yeah, I remember that. What happened? Where you're like one of those things that, people remember that you used to be a thing, but now you're not. If you want to avoid that, get someone else in there, not Erica Kirk. But you're not doing that. And they say, oh, that Charlie Kirk wanted Erica Kirk to, take over if what if he died or something like that. And it's like you have no proof of that. That's just you're making something up. So no. And then you're like, oh no, those text messages about Charlie Kirk leaving the pro-Israel cause and all that other sort of stuff. That's not real. That's not real. And that turns out, no, that was real. You're wrong. That you're wrong. And what also upsets people when you have a video that gets leaked, what was 5 days after Charlie Kirk unfortunately died, you have a video of Erica Kirk going, hey guys, oh my God, that funeral was so cool. We got all this support. Thank you. And oh my God, the merch sales. It was awesome. Are you kidding me? Your husband just died? got shot really bad in a very horrible, gruesome way that was not good at all. And that's what you're talking about? The merch sales? What? Like, it comes off like that you didn't care about the fact that your husband died. It's like, oh, you care about the fact that, oh, the merch sales were good. You got good merchandise and you made a lot of money. That's what it looks like you care about. And when people see that, it turns people off, and it gives another reason why people hate you, Turning Point USA, and why you will go away. And then when people see that, they don't like Erica Kirk, and I get it. That's very understandable. Like, you're done. It's just my opinion on that. You're just done. You're done. You're not coming back from this. You're just not. And then, you got Ben Shapiro, who's like, I'm paraphrasing it, but it's like, oh, I'm gonna step into Charlie Kirk's place with his bloody microphone, and I'm gonna take his mantle, and we're gonna keep it going, all this sort of stuff. And of course, it comes out from Candace Owens, where she shows text messages between her and Charlie Kirk that Charlie Kirk did not like Ben Shapiro. He was not very fond of Ben Shapiro. So it's like, again, what are you doing here? He's not very fond of Ben Shapiro. Why are you letting him do that? And again, people see that, and it's another reason why they don't like you, Turning Point USA. Like, they don't. Just misstep, mistake, mistake along the way. You keep making this worse for yourself. And then you have people resigning because they see they see it for what it is, and they don't like it. It's just no. And another reason that people don't like you, Turning Point USA, guess what? Charlie Kirk is unfortunately dead. He's long gone now. And yet, you are still using Charlie Kirk's show, the Charlie Kirk Show, to promote your stuff. Why are you doing that? That's not your show. That's Charlie Kirk's show. You need to stop doing that. Stop using Charlie Kirk's show to promote your stuff. Stop doing that. That is stupid, idiotic, and awful. Terrible. People hate it. People see that, and that's another reason why they don't like you. Like, what was it, Blake Neff and Andrew Colbert, like these people that I've never heard of before. Like, what is this? Why are you using their show? Knock it off. You want your own show where you can talk politics and a whole bunch of other stuff? Fine, you can do that. Do your own show. But if you did that, I'm of the belief that it wouldn't go very well. No one would listen to you. They'd be like, who? Who? Andrew Colbert. Who? Who's that? Who's that guy? I don't know who that is. Blake Neff? Like who? Who's this guy? Who's this bald looking dude? I don't know what this is. So no. And then you're using you're using Charlie Kirk's social media pages, his Facebook and his Twitter page. You're still using that to post stuff. Like, why? Why are you doing that? Stop doing that. That's not your social media pages. That's not your Facebook page. That's not your Twitter page. Like, stop. People see that, and again, and it's another reason why they don't like you, Turning Point USA. They don't. All the people associated with that, they don't like you. And then, Pastor Rob McCoy. or whoever that guy is. When Charlie Kirk gets shot at that college in Utah, September 2025, what does he do? Does he like try and get help out Charlie Kirk, first aid, try and give him help, do something? Nope. It's like he's just casually picking up the phone and talking and walking away casually and just going la 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 la, very lackadaisical. And it's like, oh, okay, I'm on the phone. It's okay, whatever. Charlie Kirk just got shot, but yeah, it's okay. It's no big deal. Whatever. Like, what? Are you kidding me? People see that and why they don't like you. And just how the whole Turning Point USA people, they have just been so defensive when you question something. What? No, how dare you? How dare you question us? That's not true. And then what they say isn't true is actually true. And Jimmy Dore talks about this. Everything that they've said is a lie. They say, oh, that's not true. And then what they say isn't true is actually true. So it's lie after lie after lie after lie. And then say, oh, how dare you question things about Charlie Kirk? Tyler Robinson, he did it. And it's like, no, he didn't. You look at the actual proof that it is that keeps coming out. It's like, no, he didn't do it. This dude is a patsy. He's being set up by the government. He's getting screwed. So, like, no. So knock it off with that nonsense. You just need to stop. Just stop. And it just gets so defensive when you question it and stuff. It's like, no, knock it off. Just knock it off. People can see through your BS. We can't. We can see through the BS. We know what's up. You're wrong. Knock it off. I promise you, if you just weren't so defensive about it and were just straight up and just very straightforward and like, okay, this is what happened, this is what it is, people would think of you more highly. You wouldn't be having all these issues. But you do, because you keep being stupid and make stupid, idiotic mistakes. So, yeah, it's not good. It's just not good. People have said this many times, and it keeps popping up on social media, and it keeps popping up on different shows that I watch on YouTube. And I agree with this. It's just like, dude, Erica Kirk, just go be home with your kids right now. Go do it. They desperately need someone to be there for them because they can't have their dad right now because he's long gone. Like, they need a parental figure, and that's you. Go home, be with your kids. Like, you need to be home with your kids. You just do. And when people see that, again, that's just another reason why people don't like you, Turning Point USA. You are really screwing yourself there. And all that hard work and effort and blood, sweat, and tears, metaphorically speaking, that Charlie Kirk put into Turning Point USA and building it up to what it is today, to one of the big name in politics, one of the biggest political organizations in politics, not just Republican politics, but politics in general, that could get people of all walks of life to vote for Republicans, and it's a big reason why Trump's in the White House. All of that, you're pissing that away. It needs to stop. Like, you're being very disrespectful and very rude to Charlie Kirk. Everything that he worked for, you are destroying that. So that needs to stop. It just does. So that just needs to stop. And Nicki Minaj, like, she was at a Turning Point USA event and talking to Erica Kirk there out on the stage at one of the events, and yeah, that oh boy, that's another thing that Charlie Kirk was not very fond of, because you hear some of the lyrics from Nicki Minaj's music, and it's not good. That it definitely goes against what Charlie Kirk was about, and you then again he's dead, and then so you'd think you wouldn't have something like that, but you did. You went against him and had Nicki Minaj at a Turning Point USA event. Oops. Yikes. Because, Charlie Kirk speaked out of, that kind of behavior. Some of the stuff that's in the music for Nicki Minaj is not very good, and he's not very fond of that. And speaking out against the, behavior of some people in the black community out, didn't like that, and, needs to be better. And then you have that there at the event. So, oops. Yeah. And then also in that same video where it's like all those people that put all that hard work and effort and blood, sweat, and tears, metaphorically speaking, to put on that funeral that Charlie Kirk had, just when it was done, like, oh, done, it's like, okay, well, you're fired. Like, I know you worked your ass off and you put a lot of time and effort into that, and you worked a lot of hours and a lot of hard work, a lot of long days, hard work, sometimes on weekends. And I know you did a lot of that stuff to get to help get that funeral to what it was. But, screw you, you're fired. Screw you. And let's be honest here. Was that really a funeral for Charlie Kirk? No, not really. That was just that was an event for Erica Kirk. It was just, look at me, look at me, look at me. Fireworks and a fancy looking pantsuit that's sparkly and glittery, and it's like, that really wasn't a funeral for Charlie Kirk. So, and like, people see that, and again, that's just another reason why people are not very fond of Turning Point USA and don't like Turning Point USA. They don't like what they're doing right now. They don't like what they've become, doing things that is the opposite of what Charlie Kirk would have wanted, what he was for. Just not good. That is not good. And they say, oh, people grieve. people grieve differently. And yes, that is right. There is some truth to that. But not the way people don't grieve in the way that Erica Kirk did. Just not true. It's just not, my Uncle Doc, who was very close to me, and I was very close to him, a very close person in our family, a very well-respected person in the family, very highly regarded, thought of that well. He was just that good. And when he unfortunately died in September 2024, it hit everyone in the family hard, including me. It was not very fun. I took it very hard and I cried a lot. Just a real sad, horrible feeling, just really bad, that just brought me down. I can tell you this, no one in my family, including me, was out there acting the way that Erica Kirk did. Hell no, not even close. Because when you lose someone that is very near and dear to your heart, that is very close to you, that you love oh so dearly, someone that you love very, very much, you don't act like that. You don't act the way that Erica Kirk did. And again, when people see that, that's the reason why they don't like Erica Kirk, and it's the reason why they don't like Turning Point USA. You, you just don't. You just don't act like that. It's just not good. It is just not good. So, just wanted to throw that one out there. I've been talking in this video for a little bit over an hour, so I think I've said what I needed to say, and I'm just going to get out of here and end this video. So I'm done talking now, so bye now.